couple rounds of play certainly isn't enough for the weekend, so let us draw another card and see what we got. Okay, stone production. This is a big deal. Now, this thing produces 1 stone for somebody who plays on it anyway, but this one can collect up stone, which means you could actually get a quantity that you can build something with. So we'll see, how quickly it goes. I gotta lay down cards for everyone and then we get moving. First player, because interesting choices there. He could have laid down some grain, maybe put down an occupation. There are some useful ones there in his hand that he kind of wants to do. Didn't have enough to buy what I'm kind of considering, which was one of these big ovens. I'm set up to start creating grain, and yeah, but eventually it should flow nicely. I need stone for that, and grabbing stone didn't seem worth it compared to grabbing hordes and hordes of wood. It's just something to me where it's impossible, and I was discussing this in the comments on one of the vids. It makes it impossible for me to give up a really good deal. Now, there's another really good deal sitting out here, which is all these reeds. The problem with that one is all those reeds are not terribly useful. They can help you build a hut. If you get this, they can be helpful. But short of those kind of options, they're really not a terribly useful choice. Wood, though, wood can be used for extending your hut, and wood can be used for fencing stuff in. So between those couple of things, it's like I can't ignore it. A couple players couldn't say no to resources either. Reeds in this case. He wants to extend his house for various reasons. I mean, you do want to do that no matter what, but he's got more immediate concerns that make that desirable. And this guy went for wood, which I'm not sure was wise. Only 4 wood is not enough to extend his house, which is what he wants to do. But, yeah. I don't, it's kind of hard to make these decisions when something's out there that's worth a good deal. It's hard not to take it. It might have been better to take the clay, same amount of clay, but I've got a fireplace already, so maybe I don't need it. Then over to this guy, and he grabbed an occupation, the schnapps distiller. He's got something that he needs 4 occupations to play that is pretty valuable. So since I have the vegetables, that will get me the food to make it through this next period. And occupations are, sometimes in demand. So, yeah. Painful decisions, Back on the first player. Don't know what I want to do, right? I've got this ton of wood. I could build another room. There's no possibility of getting children yet, although the village beauty can take family growth without, but I'd need food to do that. I need a pile of food. Then I'm looking like sleeping corner allows me also family growths, but I need to get 2 grain fields. So maybe what I want to do is I want to plant the grain at this point. Part of the problem is I don't have the stone that I need to get one of these bigger ovens going. Maybe I want to grab the stone now because I can probably plant the grain at any point. But if I plant the grain, I can't bake the bread, and all kind of complexity in there. I think I'm going to take this, which gets me a reed, which is kind of hard to get, a stone, which I definitely need, and then just some extraneous food. But there come these points where you're just like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I've got all this wood. I've been building up the wood. What should I do with it? I don't know. There's no opportunity for animals in my hand right now, so definitely iffy choices, especially here. I played the granary, building it with clay. I guess I have a choice based on this divide there. Well, that throws out some grain late in the game when I might be wanting to build fields. That's great. The other thing I was able to do is by grabbing the starting player marker with that position, because there's really not a lot out there for me anymore. This guy has this storehouse clerk who wants to collect lots and lots of resources and can start getting more at the start of each round. I'm kind of like, let's see, So I grabbed some clay too. I'm getting closer and closer to the point where I'll just start producing resources. Now again, that's going to leave me with a huge excess that I can't touch because I need it to generate, additional points. But that's okay, because then I can kind of swoop in at the end with all my resources, presumably. One things. This guy played the one thing he really wanted to play, which is this quarry. He used up the major or minor improvement there. That's going to allow him to get stone, 3 stone with each day labor operation. That's a really, really valuable thing to do. Stone is incredibly useful. The guy with the stone road would have really loved this, but as it stands, he's got a nice situation. And that's why I had to get the 4 occupations out. I want to get that thing running as soon as possible. That gets me to the end of this one. And I feel like I have the energy and the flow to do another one, but then I'm kind of like, I don't know. Have the coffee in the pipe. Yeah, we'll try. Who gets what? Somebody gets vegetables. I think that's this guy. Oh, geez. And somebody gets wood. That's the private forest. Yeah. Boy, he's piling that stuff up. And then we draw the card. And there's only 2 options here, but little perturbations, pronouncing that wrong, can cause some weird situations. So this one, you must do a renovation if you pick this space, and then you have the option to do a major or minor improvement as well. No one has been able to do a renovation yet. This is the first card that allows that. But yeah, they're fairly cheap when you consider it. If you're thinking about, I'm turning my whole house from a wooden one to a clay one, I don't know, you're not using a lot of clay there, so you're just kind of putting some daub up. And then for the stone, boy, that one's, I don't mind wood and daub working together, although you should be able to do that a different way other than, what my house is a wooden daub house now, but the rest of it is going to be built entirely out of clay. But with the stone, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Putting a couple of rocks in and embedding them in the wall or something? I have no idea. But anyway, again, this thing doesn't try to represent anything. It is just an abstract exploration of a point manifold. Figure out what he wants to do. Right, swinging around from here, plowed a field. Why? Well, because I got grain and vegetables. I want to plant them at some point. I'm looking at a food deficit right now, though, and that's a problem. Over here, he took a couple of stones. That's a hard resource to get for most of the players, except for him. What did he do? He grabbed some wood because no one's going to go after his day labor thing, right? 2 food at this point doesn't seem terribly important. On the other hand, denying him might be, but on the other hand, getting that wood, I'm going to need wood and stone to do anything that I want to do, I think. or whatever it is I wanted to do. And then over here, he did an occupation to drop the maid, because I have all this wood, but I don't have a lot of reed. It's hard to get reed. There's not much collected up right now. So adding rooms doesn't seem as useful as maybe doing the renovation, and I can probably do a minor or major improvement along with that. And then I'll be in a clay hut and be getting 1 food per round from then on. It's not fantastic, but you know, it also gets me an occupation out, and I think I needed another one there. Running on the low end of the food scale right now for this late. I'm a little concerned always, because you know these will each have 3, and that's a lot of leeway, but there's issues. He's the only guy in good shape. He's got sheep he can kill, and well, he can kill 1 sheep, I guess. No, at any time he can do it. So he can kill 1. He won't be able to kill a breeder, but he could kill up to 3 sheep for food. Plus, he's got almost enough already, so he only needs 1 more food. But this guy chose anyway to plant his vegetables with the hopes of maybe getting a fireplace or something next turn. That's going to be hard, though. He's going to be pressed. Things have to fall well. He's got first person that'll help. This guy is making a hard choice, though. I think, even though I have that storehouse manager, I want to take basically 2 actions at once, which is going to be, and this may not be wise at all, renovate my house, which costs me 2 clay and 1 reed. Right, it's 1 per, yeah. And that flips it over. Now, I've just made wood less valuable for me, which could be good, could be bad, but wood's easier to collect than clay. That's the problem. But now I'm also allowed to do a major or minor improvement, and I'm going to take a major, which is the joinery, which will allow me to convert wood into food. Now, I can only do this once for 2 food, but again, not only am I taking something that might help me make my food at some point that I need, but it also generates victory points if I have lots of wood at the end of the game, and which I might be able to do with the storehouse manager, and it takes this away from everyone else. So now wood is less valuable to everyone but me, in a sense. You know, people still have fences to build and stuff like that. So wood may still be in demand. But the point is, maybe late in the game, I'll be the only person who cares about wood because of this, for whatever that's worth. To an unfortunate position. Where I have a rules question which cannot be answered by this rule set. And no rules come with the expansion decks or whatever. I don't know what E is, but E includes the simple fireplace. Does that count as a fireplace for the cooking hearths? Because the cooking hearths are replace fireplace to get them. So I looked under cooking hearth, and it only specifies these 2, and they get returned to the major improvements board. But I looked for simple fireplace in the minor improvements, and it's simply not there, which leads me with a, gosh, I just don't know. Because this would actually be a real upgrade and would serve to solve his problems, if I can do that. I'm going to say yes, for no great reason, except that, like, there don't seem to be any instructions. It has the word fireplace in it, but it doesn't only have the word fireplace in it. So I'm kind of on I don't know which way to go. But for less frustration, I'm going to allow that. And therefore, that's what he's going to go for, which will be Might as well grab the starting player marker, because that's useful, and play that thing for a wood. I can't. I'm sorry. That doesn't work. It was a clay for the cost for that, I believe. Which means no matter what, I need clay. Now, unfortunately, I need 3 clay if I'm buying this fireplace. If I'm buying my little simple one clay will do. But I wanted to wait and see if I could get the 3 clay or whatever, because I've got other cards which use clay, and it looks like I can probably do that. So what else would I fucking want to do? Well, I might as well take the thing, because this will get me halfway to the food I need, and get me 3 stone. And then I can see, you know, maybe I'll be able to get what I want in the other. And that's the quarry. Yeah, that's a pretty powerful thing. I have a ton of wood. What might look appealing is to build myself lots and lots of, well, a bunch of fences. There's going to be 3 sheep available next turn. That's cool. That might help me solve my problem. But first player is here because he didn't steal it. And this guy's going to get the sheep. Pretty much guaranteed. Unless I take 2 sheep now, which I'd have to kill one of them. Which means I want to do something different. Now, one of the different things I can do, I can't sow my grain, which sucks, because I would like to sow my grain, but I also need food. I'm looking around, there's other players are low on food too, so I don't know how likely that's going to be. Day labor can give me extra grain, but not terribly helpful because it's too many actions in play. What I was looking at was the possibility of maybe building one of these big ovens. This one takes 3 clay and 1 stone, which I could actually build, and that could convert my grain into bread, but only if I can bake it. But I could just sow 1 field. I have 2 set up, and do that. So I think that seems like the best choice for me, which will be to play here. 3 clay, 1 stone, and grab this thing, which is worth 2. This one's worth 3, and it can do 2 bakings, but of less bread each. All this kind of weird balancing. That gets me to the end of this round. I'll be going to round 7. That's too much for me right now. The card in any given stage is known. You can just look it up, basically. In this case, it's family growth and a minor improvement. Priorities over there. Gotta lay down the resources. The other time I said people or something. Whatever. The little round circles, whatever they mean, you know. I mean, first player priority is to get food to my people. Well, I could grab sheep, but I have no way to cook them. I only have 2 people. That means I only need 4 food, but there's only 3 available in any of the food locations. Now, I could grab that and maybe a day labor or something, and maybe that's what I need to do. However, I have a vegetable coming. That could get me 2 food. 3 if I can get enough clay, and there is enough clay. Let me look at other people. Nobody's got a ton of clay, so I think the only way that I can get my food to work is by grabbing that clay. If I screwed up, I screwed up, you know. See, there's 3 clay here. He could grab what I want, and he's got 1 clay, But remember, I go first. That's also a factor to keep in mind. So anyway, that's his decision. I'll try to figure out the next one. This guy's got an easy food situation. He has a wood that could turn into 2 food, so he's safe no matter what. He's also got sheep that he's going to almost have to turn into food. Some detail because each of these decisions is a painful one. Okay, so for me, what I want to do is actually expand my housing. And to do that, because I've already gone with clay, I have no reeds though. That sucks. So I have a couple of choices. Basically, I wish I had stayed with wood because I would collect one of the bigger wood collections, a little bigger. And, you know, I still wouldn't have enough to build a room and stables. Plus, I would still need the reed. Painful. Well, I don't want to take the reed at this point for no real reason. Do I want to collect piles of wood, or do I want to collect that clay that would be more useful? The piles of wood I can burn into food anytime I need to, well, on turns that I need to. Plus I can create a producer with my dude. So I think I'll go for the wood. I don't know. The wood doesn't get me towards what I want. I have some wood already. Let's get the clay. That gets me closer. There's a family growth available now, but nobody's in position to take advantage. Let's go to this guy. So maybe a little easier. This guy has no food problem. I've got the schnapps distiller. I can create 5 food for that. So instead, I grabbed reeds. Reeds are the difficult to get commodity right now that I need. I can get stone real easily, which other people can't. I have my vegetables and grain if I grow out there. Wood is desirable, but there's like 3 spaces that have enough wood to do what I need to do, whatever that is. So, reeds it is, because I'm looking maybe to build houses at some point soon. Again, everything feels so damn slow, and I feel like this must be me being too slow at the game, right? Like, that there must be better ways to optimize your growth. It doesn't feel like I have very much on any of these. And, you know, it looks like I'm halfway through the game. Now, the reality is I'm around 7 out of 14, so yeah, I am about halfway through the game. But it speeds up as you get more people, because you get more actions. On the other hand, you get less resources, because as more and more players have people, they're able to also grab more of the spaces. So the actual resource production spaces don't end up with these backlogs in them that we see. I completely forgot to mention this guy. So he took the cell baked bread. This is exactly what he wanted. He didn't think he'd get away with it, but nobody else had open field, so I guess it was fairly likely. I put one of my grain in the field, turned the other one into 5 food, which is pretty sweet. So I'm covered on food. I took the important space for me, did something useful, and we're back around to the start. This guy's not in great shape right here. I'm going to have 1 vegetable coming to me. And I have a grain. If I could have baked bread, you know, that would have worked fine. I needed the clay to get an oven, though. And that's where the problem is. Now, there's food available, but it's not much, and I don't have anything that helps me. So I could grab 3 food from either of these spaces. That's all I got available to me. I need 4. Unfortunately, the other thing that I can build that's useful is the cooking hearth. That only produces 3 food for me from that vegetable. I'm going to be able to do that during harvest, but I'm going to end up having to beg. That'll be a major improvement. Do I have something else I want to do? I could do a renovation at the same time, except I don't have the wood. No, I don't want to. I could add a room if I had the wood. I could do a renovation to clay. I think I have enough of that. Yeah. So I could boost up to a clay house. No, I can't because I need that clay. All right. So we'll take this because we can't do the renovation and we have to do the other thing. And that will be 4 clay to get this cooking hearth. It produces the same as this more expensive one, yeah. And I don't think I have enough for the stone oven. At least it's worth points. Really hard on this guy, so hold on. Let's go back to what's happened elsewhere. Here, I grabbed the excess wood. Again, I have an interest in getting huge piles of stuff. I'm okay on the food side of things no matter what, so I gotta kill me sheep anyway. So we're fine. Over here, I also grabbed wood. Remember I was saying, hey, I want wood and reeds? Okay. But this guy, not a big problem. I got my food and everything, but I got tons and tons of wood. And I could take a random selection of animals, which I would start to get, since I could keep the first one that I get in as a pet and then start building pastures and whatnot. This is not really useful to me. This would be useful if other people are going to build fences. 2 of the 3 other players have already built, so maybe not so much. This is useful if I build a house, but I can't build a house yet. I need more reed. I could get more reed by going up here. That would also get me a stone, which might be useful for some things. Taster, you know, I can steal the first play. Okay, the stable. Well, not terribly useful right now. It would be if I have those random animals coming in. I could build fences. I think that's my other big option that I'm considering here. The lasso would be useful because I could play 2 people, grab an animal and something else all at once. One reason this might work, but it's in the wrong order, right? So, oh no, only one of them has to do. Okay, so here's the thing. I could build the lasso, grabbing starting player, and the next turn, I can grab the 4 sheep and build my fences at the same time. Does that help me? I don't have the right kind of cooking implements to handle animals. But I have time to work on getting them. Somebody might upgrade to the cooking hearth and throw a fireplace back. We got a fireplace over here. Or maybe I can buy the cooking hearth eventually with. So I think that's what I'm going to set up for. It doesn't feel perfect, but nothing ever does. So I play this here. I grab the starting player. I've got enough food, and we're done. Now, after I bring people back, which is always hard for me to remember to do what I'm supposed to, for whatever it matters, I get to do the harvest. And the first thing with the harvest is the field phase, where okay. Now feeding, no babies out there. 2 food per. Well, I got to do something. So this gets me 5 food, 2 food per. I have 1 excess. Is that the way I want to do it? I don't have any other options. I have no other way to produce food right now. I'm just producing schnapps. I'm selling it, and food is money in this game, but money, you know, whatever the food as money is doesn't really get you anything. Like, I have to trade my schnapps for food or something. whatever you do as work, you trade it for food. Food lasts forever somehow, but it doesn't count as anything at the end of the game. All things that feel very weird to me. This guy's got a feed. He's fine with that. This guy's got a problem. I can cook a vegetable. That is my only source of food. That gets me 3. And that means I get a begging card, which is not good. This guy needs to feed 2. Now I have a problem. I have too many sheep. So I will slaughter a sheep and get 2 food. I'm not going to worry about the joinery. And what that means, 2 plus 2 is 4. That's enough for my people. The joinery, I could throw 1 wood in to get a couple more food. That's not a great return rate. And I'm trying to arc up to get that increase. We've done everybody's people. Now we hit breeding. There's only 1 player with animals. I hope I threw that sheep back when I fed with it, but I grow another sheep. And that gets us up to round 8. To the 3rd stage, we got wood for the forest guy. Boy, he's got tons of it. And grain, somebody's got grain coming to them constantly. Is that the maid? No, he needs a clay hut to take advantage of that. Somebody creates grain. Can't remember, it's been so long the granary does, I hope. And that draws us our card, and we get piggies. And now set things up, we come over here, he's first player now. I don't remember shit, because, you know, I slept. Being hoarded to such quantities that I'm having to use these markers. I figure it's better on a single player than doing it on the board where I really need, everybody needs to be able to assess the information on the board quickly. However, anytime you use something like this, it hurts me. I end up just kind of discounting the whole thing, and so I'm going to look and see 2 wood here. You know, it's just the nature of the way my brain processes stuff. I see where it's necessary in the game. There's no question about that. You can't, especially given that you have wooden pieces. If the game used counters for everything, you could have numeric counters for the different materials, like a lot of other games do. Borderlands does. I don't know. But a lot of games have many resources with numeric counters on them. Be cheaper to do and easier for me to assess. Of course, it would prevent people who like to chew on painted wood or something from getting some pleasure. I don't know. Also, we're getting to the point in the game where the choices are becoming overwhelming. You know, at least for the break apart, come back each time, whatever. But I'm looking at this player here, and I'm like, oh, geez. Okay, I remember what he was planning on doing. He was planning on grabbing himself lots of aminals. It's not really what I want to do. I'm set up to get this maid in place, which will get me lots of food. I also kind of want to bake bread or sow fields, and I'm not sure which. But yeah, this is what I picked up, which allows me to grab animals and fencing sort of at the same time. And I can do the fencing first, the way it's written. So I'm going to build myself fencing. Right now, I definitely need fencing for the sheep I'm going to grab. But I could also, you know, be thinking about boars are already out, pigs, cattle will show up, etc. hard decisions. And again, people who play the game, I'm sure, have optimized and figured this all out and never get into this position, but I feel handcuffed again. Now, I felt completely bemused the first time I played it, trying, no idea what I'm trying to do, And then I got engines working where people weren't starving, and I think, that happened okay until the very end, and somebody had to take a couple of beggar cards. But somebody had to take one early, just like this guy did, although earlier than him, because it just wasn't clear to me how bad that was going to be. But anyway, now I'm feeling like I'm hitting that barrier again, and just not wanting to play. It's like, and you can say, well, you've got an attitude that's like for giving up, and maybe I do. Each time you play, you're going to get closer and closer to being able to play the game basically semi-competently, right? And you can make that same argument for games like chess or whatever. But in chess, if two incompetents are playing each other, they may make some bad moves, but they're competing with each other. Here, you just feel like you're fucking up because you're not using stuff and things aren't working. And it's like maybe you learn some lessons each time you play and get a little better, but you're just getting a little better at, not looking like you're completely sucking, right? That's what it really comes down to. I hate playing a game and feeling completely incompetent at it, right? And that's kind of what the modern Euro is trying to do. It's trying to make you feel completely incompetent so you want to keep playing. Well, for me, I just want to fucking leave, Anyway, for this guy, what the hell was he up to? Well, he would have liked those sheep. He thought he was going to get them, but this guy stole them. I don't remember what my plans were. Not at all. I would love to be able to build a clay hut, but there aren't many clay resources available right now. There was something else that I could do that I kind of wanted to do, but I don't fucking know what it was. What I'm getting to here is, I think I'd like to bake bread, get my food. The years go quickly now, for some reason. I guess we're entering the little ice age. Hey, that actually makes sense almost. And the reality is, you should have enough that you're able to feed yourself easily. But that means I can't gain much. In order to do that, I feel like, I obviously need to plow a field. So I'm just going to fucking do that and keep going. And again, it just keeps getting harder and harder and less fun. And last game I kind of coasted through this period thinking I don't give a shit anymore. And I'm getting to that point again here. Maybe a little later, maybe that point moves each time towards, I made my decisions, I gotta fucking live with them, and it's just not worth busting my brain trying to figure out, how to best optimize across this crap. Let's go for resources. Bunch of wood. Yeah, wood's not really important to him, but he's got that storehouse master or whatever that lets him keep growing wood. Plus he has the joinery, which lets him turn wood into food. So it's not too terrible, but it's only one wood into a couple of food each harvest. If I read it right. It's also worth tons of points, but whatever. And then this guy, and again, I'm stopping. I'm not that interested in optimizing anymore. I just want to get through the fucking game now. That's all I care about. This guy was kind of looking at, I got a clay fireplace there. I need a fireplace to convert. No, I don't. I was going to say to convert my vegetables. No, I'm good for food for good. But I have a card that I want to get played. I want to get up to a stone house. Although I'm not going to get that many advantages off of it. But it's a really good card, and it's part of what my whole goal was with the quarry and everything. So, However, I'm not building a farm here. You know, I've got a guy who goes and grabs rocks. I've got a food problem. There aren't any great resource spaces. I could grab food by fishing. There's a pile of food there, or the traveling players, but that gives advantages away I don't want to give. I'd like to be able to build food reasonably, though. I'm considering going to the take grain, even though that gives, even though I have to pay a food for that, so that I can both plant and bake bread. I guess next turn. With only 2 people, I guess that's about the best I can do. Oh, no, I can do it here. Is it round 6? I could actually get me a vegetable. Yeah, why don't we do that instead? Oh, no, we used up both our things. Oh, we're screwed. Cool. Okay, to the next player. And this is what comes of not being able to plan anymore. You know, just not caring about the game enough to. And that just increases the misery level because I could do a renovation. I have 2 clay, I have the reed, boom. I do that, then I can make a major or minor improvement. Well, I think all the majors, except the well will help. Okay, we'll do that. The well's worth tons of victory points, and I actually am well suited to do that. Because my other options, the slaughterhouse, I don't have the clay for. The fireplace that I needed, I don't have the clay for. The carp pond, I don't have enough improvements to do. So I just was left with nothing that worked, but this does. So I feel happy enough. I found something that kind of works, and I don't want to keep thinking anymore. So 2 clay and a reed gets me up to this. And what was I going to do? I was going to buy the well. The well cost me a wood and 3 of my stone. Now, stone is sort of the most valuable of the commodities that aren't worth anything at the end of the game. But that gets me a second improvement, so I can do the other thing if I want to. Place 1 food on the next 5 round spaces, and I get the food on that. That's pretty awesome. That will fill me out so that I have enough food to feed my family. Nobody has grown their family yet. For that isn't because, oh, you know, I don't really want to grow my family or anything. You totally do. You totally do, especially if other people aren't able to do it. It's just fucking hard. You know, and okay, farming's about like not being able to do well or whatever, but I would rather have something else generating it than my own feeling that I'm just a fucking idiot for playing this game. And that's the feeling I get every time I play these complex manifolds, is I just want to give up. And I know people who play games that feel intuitive to me. I can remember like Stellar Conquest, where you want to grow your population, so you increase your economy, so that, you know, you can build the military and additional economic advantages that you want to do. That all makes perfect sense to me. It all flows together in good ways, etc. But I've seen people who just are completely flummoxed by that, and they probably can understand this. You know, well, maybe not all of them, but you know, I feel like a complete idiot when I'm playing these kind of games. And I don't like feeling like a complete idiot. It's not my idea of fun. Struggling with the willing to do anything at all here, but not just the game, anything in life. Anyway, this vegetable goes to the greenhouse. This food goes to someone. Does it go to the maid? Probably. No, the maid doesn't have, and this is where it gets problematic, is if the maid was out, there'd be a couple of food there. But the maid doesn't have her house. Oh, well, someone gets this. Oh, I had to check him. He's got something too coming. Goes to the granary. Same person, right? No. Nope, nope, nope. Someone gets this food. No. Oh, the well. The well gets it. That's what I forgot about. Okay. And we got this guy. Whenever you have at least 5 stone, 6 reed, 7 clay, 8 wood. I think I have that. So I get 1 additional wood. We're going to have to use markers for this again. And then we know what this card is if we look on the little sheet, but we, of course, forget to do that. And that's a take a vegetable, which is pretty damn cool. But it comes so late in the game, you can't really count on, getting things started with vegetables. But vegetables are a lot better than grain. For most people. Grain has good conversion if you do the baked bread action, but it's expensive. And that will put us over here, but I got to fill out the things and try to remember how to play this game again. Because none of it's intuitive, right? It's all about remembering how all the cards interact. Food problem. Got to deal with the food problem. Strangely enough, I have all these animals. If I had clay, whatever, I could build myself some kind of cooking. I got nothing here, but I got to deal with that food problem. Spices is converting vegetable to food. Gives an additional 1. That doesn't help me. I don't have anything to cook except this damn clay oven. Which means I need to do a baked bread. Okay. But I can use my lasso. And I can grab 2 piggies. Is that what I want? I don't know, maybe. And I find my baked bread, which is sour baked bread, but I can't do both. So I get 5 food, which is enough to feed me. But now I've used up both my chits, or my people, and, I still haven't done anything except subsistence. As far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm growing some animals and stuff, but I'm really not getting the kind of, the kind of growth that I expect out of this kind of game. But then again, nobody else really is either. Look at, I've got the most filled farmland, at least. I think too much. I look at this guy, he's got enough food. He's going to have, he has a vegetable, which he's able to cook and turn into 3 food. That gives him plenty. Which means I can afford to play an occupation. Which occupation do I want to do? Well, let's take a look. There's only the 2 base ones available. Everybody has at least 1 guy out as an occupation. So this one is actually the better. Well, this one's always just a food. Okay, this one's always better. And I spend a food, but I'm still okay. I have enough for feeding. I even think I have enough to feed if I take advantage of this farm steward. Oh, shit, fuck that. I'm sorry. No, don't want to do that. I thought I was going to get a growth out of that. All right, we think again. Ended up grabbing wood instead so that I can try to extend my house, in which case I don't need the farm steward, but I won't have a baby this turn. Yeah. That's the way it always goes. You never get anything done and you end up barely filling everything out because you're me. And you feel like you're doing horribly in the game. And, this is one place where playing with other people might help. If this is actually as bad as it's supposed to be, I wouldn't feel so bad. But it doesn't match my expectations of a Euro in that way. While I don't necessarily feel like I should have my space fully filled out early in the game or anything like that, or have tons of people, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't happen. Like, I can get a family to 3 people, maybe 4, by the end of the game. The first game, I think somebody got to 4 or whatever. But, I mean, that's hard work. It's hard work to get to being able to feed yourself without, wasting effort on grabbing stuff like this. And honestly, if you just are fucking baking bread, does it matter? Why did I bake bread? That was stupid. I could have gone fishing instead. Instead, I wasted a thing because my little stuff is set up to do it that way, but it didn't fucking help me. And I'll leave it as it is. But I mean, it's that kind of shit that, like, oh, wait a minute. I mean, I set my engine up and my engine don't run. And, I walk around with it, playing this, I feel like I'm just completely missing the point. And I wouldn't be shocked if I am. In fact, I expect that is the case, that I am really terrible at this. And that if I was sitting at a table of people, I would be the guy who's got this, and everybody else has their things completely filled out, and I'm just there scratching my head saying, I don't understand what happened. And the thing is, I'm usually not bad at optimization problems at games in general. Which makes it even harder. I mean, I can have people explain the thing to me, maybe, but I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, this, making a mistake like that is clear, right? I got more food out of it, sure. But that could have been something that I did in conjunction with a so later. And now there's just food piling up here. Anyway, the fuck with it. To go before that, I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm going to use stone for, but stone is hard to get. So screw you, man. I'm going to grab this 3 stone because that's the thing I can do without thinking too hard. 3 stone is a lot to pile up. Do I have food problems? No. I've got to kill a sheep. I've got people. Of course, I'm not growing my family. I'm not doing anything for my farm. I'm just grabbing resources that this guy piles up that are worth no victory points, but that's okay. His special ability with the day laborer to grab more stone and some food. He's got plenty of food, but whatever. Is this the way towards victory? Again, no. But I've got this guild master who I want to play, and I thought about playing him so that I could build one of these things, but this doesn't really help me, and it's the only one I can build that I think he works for. He's got a whole fucking list of things. Let's see, joinery, cabinet maker, pottery, potter, basket maker, workshop, or basket maker. And they give additional resources. So it seems like a good kind of thing for, if you want to use your cards for synergy. But here's the problem. I have the scholar who, once I have a stone house, I can get an occupation or improvement by paying the cost. So my next guy could be to build my house up to stone, which I can actually do with a renovation. I might be able to slip an improvement in there, although it's not going to be anything too impressive. I don't have much resources. What I should be doing is maybe building out my farms, because I think that'll get me points. But this stuff gets you points too. And this is kind of the thing is that, like, yeah, they both get points. I don't know how many in each way. Let's call it a crapshoot, because I don't want to figure out the optimization on the end victory point salad. I don't really care too much about that kind of shit in games at all. So fuck it. What can I do to work my synergies? And that's a very Dominion type thing, as opposed to, Can I get my little engine working? Well, my little engine, anybody could get working. The one thing that makes me special is this hand of cards. So if that hand of cards has a synergy in it, I should be using that. That should give me an advantage, right? That's my thinking. Now, maybe it doesn't, and maybe that defeats one of the arguments I have against this game, which is that if you get a good synergy on cards, and they can allow you a tremendous advantage. Maybe they don't. Maybe that's the whole secret of it. Maybe only if you get a good synergy can you compete with the basic engine creation of the game. But I see synergies everywhere and want to play the cards because I figure that's my special bonus. I should be able to do that. If that's wrong, it's the game deceiving me, right? But that would solve any kind of balance issue, because almost no matter how good your hand is, the best it can do is what you can do without it. And maybe you use a couple of cards instead of trying to, you can see I've got a big portfolio of cards out on each player. That's taken a big expense. Maybe the idea is, you might use one or two of these cards. Maybe they give you a little advantage. Hey, at least the fucking turkeys are out. Haven't seen them in a while. Yay. Actions, because he used his two people right off the bat. This guy, you know what? I think I made my decision before. Do I have enough food? I hope so. I'm going to build a room. That cost me 5 and 2. I don't have enough wood to build stables. I would have done that if I could, but this means that I have shifted myself up to a position where I'm close, that I almost have another family member, which, gets me a third action on there. And I think that's a huge, huge bonus. The game that I played before, the person who managed to get the advantage on that first, and I think actually stretched it out to 4 people, but I may be wrong, ended up very much, an 8-point lead or so. So get new family members as soon as possible, but this is as soon as I could do it. And it's not that far from when I could have possibly done it, because the card came out late, but yeah. There's tons of wood, and not a wooden house. Would really like to, use it for something. I may not have any opportunities in the future. I don't know. I got the tavern. I got this riding plow, but I don't have the occupations for it. This allows you to do 3 fields instead of 1 twice during the game, which to me is actually like, wow, you can just cover your land. I mean, that's 6 fields on 2 actions that you build. If you could do that early, but you can't because of all the prerequisites for it, you would be able to get one huge, like grain and vegetable operation running. But you don't, because there's nothing that's that huge. And again, I beginning to think that the goal, that the way to do well in this game has little or nothing to do with your cards. The one thing that differentiates the players, the one thing that makes you have something to guide you, is probably a false flag. What that means is, well, I need more people. The only way I have of getting more people is to get reeds. My food situation is fine as it stands. Reeds is the only thing that I need that's going to set me up in a better position. That gets me to the end of the actions. I got to pull everybody back, and then we'll get to the harvest. Fuck, I forgot this guy. All right, we got to figure out where everybody was. We went with boars and something. I don't remember what. Baked bread, I think. And he did stuff. Somebody went into that wood. I think that's him. And he expanded his house. And this guy... I should just leave my fucking things on the board, because if I don't, then I come around to somebody, because the orders changes all the time, and fuck up in the other direction, which is much harder to redeem. I grabbed stone and I did reeds. Okay. And now we think about whatever the fuck he can do. And yeah, I am fucking hating this game. Unfortunately, all the majors require clay except for this. So I'm doing a renovation, going up to the stone house. That's what I was planning. And I build the carp pool, which doesn't cost me anything and gets me a victory point. So that's cool. That also throws some food out, thereby complicating the food thing. Each remaining odd numbered round gets food. That's these. Now, I think I've got the other food from the well, so these I can actually stack and say it's 2 per. He's just going to have tons of food. He doesn't need to do anything to generate food anymore, I'm guessing. Well, he might, depending on the number of people he has. And there's nothing you can really do with food. Once you start collecting a lot of food, eventually, like the rocks and the wood and stuff, it just becomes stuff you have, and it's great to have and everything. But it's not easy to get into this position. I've spent the whole game collecting no victory points. Well, I got 7 sitting here. That's pretty good, right? I don't know. It's not. I mean, 40 is where I should be hitting, and I've got a lot of minuses here. So I got to build a lot of fences or something. All right. Now we pull the people back, and we do the fucking harvest. There's a card, but I don't think it's in play, that screws up the order of the harvest. It's like the slaughterhouse or something. So I pull resources out of the fields. Hey, don't have to plow. And then I have to feed the family members. 2 per. That's 2, 4. Do I have anything that generates food that I really want to do here? I don't think so. I could create schnapps. What do I need with 5 food, right? Actually, yeah. Screw it this time. This guy has his 4 food. Is there any reason he wants to generate more food? He does not. He's got too many sheep, sort of, but it's not bad. And I have no way to kill them. In fact, here's the thing. If you have like the tanner and you don't have a way to kill animals, to cook animals, you can't kill them. Which, yeah, you can't kill them just for their skins. If you're not going to eat them, nope. This guy needs to feed his people. Well, he's got a shortage right now. However, I've got a cooking hearth. And I can cook this for 3. That puts me to 4 food. Vegetable down. This guy has absolutely no food. But I'll cook a sheep for 2. And I'll cook a wood for 2. And that will feed my 4 people. And now this is the kind of thing that you can kind of remember between turns of, oh, I had trouble getting food and I'm planning on growing my family. Maybe this isn't the time. Yeah, well. Okay. And now the animals grow. He gets a sheepy and a piggy. And he gets his sheepy back that he cooked. Sort of like something Odin could do. And we're done there. We look for the fucking die. We put it here. And we load this one up, and one more video coming. I can't wait to be done. This, you know, this is just not a pleasant thing to play. I don't even know how to put it. It's not that it's boring as shit. It's not that it's terribly challenging. It's that it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make sense in terms of connecting to any kind of reality. So, like, the story doesn't make any sense. It's just a math optimization problem. It's dripping with fucking theme, right? You know, which is to say, it has nothing to do with the underlying reality. Yep, I highlight that every time I see this kind of crap. And, and that is exactly this is what I would call a thematic game. You know, not the Cthulhu stuff. No, those are kind of story games. Those have a subject matter, and there's a reason why things happen and stuff the way they do. This is a fucking math optimization problem disguised as a farming game. And, you know, you can align things. And I'm not saying Dominion's any better on that, right? I mean, it really isn't. Well, a little bit better. But anyway, or Magic for that matter. But they keep the optimization problem lower. They don't give you false information like cards. These cards that you have that are your sort of sole bonus in the game are really, you know, maybe not the way you should go ever. Yeah, that's not to say, you know, something like this guy used a card. One card might be safe to use. This card maybe not, because it says store up stuff that's worth no victory point. It's almost like, screw yourself, man. Store up stuff that's worth no victory points so that you get more of that stuff if you never spend it. You could do a big house expansion on the final turn if you get lucky with that, right? What else can you do with this shit? Really? What else can you do? I don't know. Yeah. All right, let's send this crap up.